Good day everyone, greetings at my channel. My name is Dennis and today I am in the port warehouse of Shanghai and we will make detailed review of this car. This is Great Wall Tank. This will be extremely interesting, especially taking into account we just recently have made review of Leopard 5 and Leopard 8 from BYD, which are actually cars of the approximately same price range and approximately same market segment. So please stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, push the like button if you like the video. And before we start the detailed review, we need to realize which actually car is now in front of me.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
The point is that Great Wall Motors produces three cars named Tank 500, which look exactly same, which has similar interior, but they are totally different in technical terms. The first and the earliest version entered the market in 2022. It was a mild hybrid with 48-volt small battery without any plug-in function, but with a huge petrol 3.0 turbocharged V6 engine with about 360 horsepower. Later on, after about 1 year, they made the real plug-in hybrid with a big battery about 31 kilowatt hours, which named Hi4-z863 H.P. This car was very complicated. Actually, it's still being produced, so it's very complicated in terms of technique and technology, because this car has a 2.0 inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine connected with a gearbox which has 7 or 9 speeds, I currently don't remember, which has integrated into this gearbox electric motor generator, which actually makes it a hybrid car. After that we have the transfer case, and after that we have the drive shaft connecting all the transfer case to the rear differential. Of course, you will ask where the hell is the battery in this old sham, and the battery is under the trunk floor, which actually limits the battery size, which actually with the drive shaft and all these transfer cases make the car more heavy, the dynamic is not so well, and everything is pretty expensive and pretty complicated. So later on in 2024 they actually made this car, and this car is called the Hi4-z863 H.P. The most expensive, the fastest and the advanced Tank 500 for today. This car actually very similar to Leopard 5 and Leopard 8, because here we have the 2.0 turbocharged inline engine, then it's connected to the planetary gear, and in this planetary, actually it's a planetary gearbox, it has 3 speeds, then we have the motor generator, and basically that is all for the driving of the front wheels. So this is a typical parallel hybrid where the ICE can drive the wheels. After that, in the middle of the frame we have the very big battery, 56 kilowatt hours, which is actually very good for this market segment. Actually it makes Tank 500 one of the leaders of this segment. And after that we have the normal drive module of the rear axle with a separate electric motor, which is very powerful, about 240 kilowatts. The front is about 200 kilowatts, and the total comprehensive power of this system is about 860 horsepower. The acceleration from 0 to 100 is 4.8 seconds, which is actually similar as Leopard 5, which has 200 horsepower less. But actually, when I told you that the rear drive module is normal, I lied to you, because it's completely not normal. This is the only car in the world which I know which has something like that. Let's take a look. Tank 500 Hi4-z863 has the de-dune suspension. It means here we have the beam, this super thick beam, which looks actually as thick as a normal rigid bridge. And here we have the rear motor, which makes this car 4-wheel drive. And here we have the CV joints, which look enormously big. So basically this is a dependent suspension. I don't know why they made dependent suspension in this way of car. Basically we don't have here subframe, we have just a frame. Small subframe have for some stabilization function, for this part. So, and we have the stabilizer, and we have there even lower the rear shock absorbers fixation. The ground clearance, of course, is not good at all. It's 214 millimeters under this huge beam, and for such SUV, it's not really amazing thing. And of course you can imagine the weight of this Dedion suspension, which is probably huge. No idea why they made like this, and no idea how all this will be felt during driving. Under the trunk floor we have nothing. We have about 60-70 liters of empty space. No any spare wheel, no any luggage compartment, and this is how everything made right here. You can check it out. In other terms, this is basically a normal hybrid SUV. Now, the size is between Leopard 5 and Leopard 8 from BYD, but the Great Wall Motors say this car they want to compete with Leopard 8 actually. The size is 5 meters with about 9 centimeters. The wheelbase is 2.85 meters, exactly between the Leopard 5 and Leopard 8, and the carb weight here is almost 3 tons. It's about 2,980 kilos. Of course, it's frame based, and in terms of techniques, it's generally close to Leopard 5, as I already mentioned. This is the 2.0 turbocharged engine, 245 horsepower. It has aluminum head of cylinders, aluminum block of cylinders. We don't have here the heat pump system in the air conditioning. We have the battery, which is 800 volts architecture, which can take up to 165 kilowatts of power, which is extremely good and which allows you to charge this car from 30 to 80 in just about 10 to 15 minutes. And the rest we can see on the chassis of this car, the rest interesting things. Here we have the very typical traditional suspension for a frame-based SUV with a double wishbone upper suspension arm with this fork-looking lower arm, very massive, connected to the massive frame. And the ground clearance under this chassis protection in front is 259 millimeters, which is better than the ground clearance under the rear Dedion beam. And unfortunately, in this car, we don't have any option to change the suspension softness or suspension height, because these are non-adjustable shock absorbers, not like hydraulic shock absorbers in Leopard 5 or 8, which can travel up to 14 centimeters. So this is just a normal shock absorbers with normal springs, and that's all. Tank 500 Hi4-z is their top model, and basically this car has only one version from factory with several options which could be added. About these options I would tell you right away, but before that I would like to tell you about the colors of this car, because this car has 3 or 4 colors, but one color scheme is very specific. It will be red plus white color with fixed interior color. I've never seen something like that. It looks quite weird, but I've seen several cars like that on the roads. And now we are talking about the options which you can buy for some extra money to this car. The first option is 20-inch wheels, because in standard we have the 19-inch wheels. It's 265, 55 are 19. The next option you can buy is the front differential lock. By default we have the rear differential lock here, but for the front you have to add some not very huge amount of money, about 500 to 600 United States dollars. The next option is actually inside of the car, and we will talk about it a little bit later, but this is the comfort package of the rear seats with massage and with this huge LCD screen in the armrest, and now they give it for free, so this car actually has it. Also, one more option is the streaming rear view mirror, which costs literally nothing, but they now also give it for free. And also the trailer hook, which is not presented in this particular car, but you can add it for several hundred USD as well. And now let's go to the interior, and the first thing I would like to show you that unfortunately we do not have the electric suction doors as we have in Leopard 5, but in Leopard 8, but in Leopard 5 we do not have them as well. Only the tailgate has electric suction. Now we will open the door. The door feels pretty light. Here we have the multi-layered soundproof glass, and inside we see that this interior quality, this interior level is exactly same as in Leopard 5. Here we do not have any trim. Here is just plastic. Here we have of course some fake leather. Here we have this plastic which looks like plastic as well. Here we have some trim. On the seats we have natural leather. On the steering wheel we have natural leather. Heating of the steering wheel by default. Here we have heating, ventilation, massage by default for the front seats. And the only thing which is here a little bit better than in Leopard 5 is the electric steering of the column. But about this issue we will talk a little bit later as well. Generally the interior looks not such modern and not such off-road style like in Leopard 5, but the quality I would say is exactly same. Inside of this car car compared to Leopard 5 or Leopard 8, we feel that this car has lower space in front seats, and we feel that the floor level is much higher. You just look at me now. I'm sitting in the lowest position of the driver's seat. I see the whole hood in front, and this is the highest position of the steering wheel, and still my arms is basically somewhere below the level of my shoulders. And funny that here I can almost make the touch of the steering wheel to the cushion of the front seats, because look at this, the actually diapason of adjustment is very small, but if we make it in the highest position of the seat, the lowest position of the steering wheel, we have here about 5 centimeters, and I literally don't understand for what are these adjustment positions made. Basically, if you're a very tall person, I assume that this interior, this seat position will be too high for you. You would like to make this seat probably lower, and you would like to make the steering wheel more up as well. But for my 178 centimeters of height, this is basically okay position on the edge of what is okay for me. I still would like to have the steering wheel higher. Okay, let's go to the details, and here we have the 12-inch central screen of the gorgeous central dashboard, and it's of good quality. It has a lot of physical buttons of the steering of it on the steering wheel. We can see the energy consumption, fuel consumption, trip computer, tire pressure monitoring system, and so on, and as well radio. Here we have a lot of physical buttons. We have the rear differential lock. Here would be the front differential lock, which is optional. Here the lower gear level in the transmission. Here we have, of course, the parking brake. Here we have the steering of the seats function, but only ventilation and heating. If you want to go to a massage, you should go to the climate menu, and here we have the massage menu. As you see, this car is not made like an off-road. It's like made more like for going to opera, not like a quite off-road style of the Leopard 5. Here we have this very fancy clock, and in terms of off-road steering, we have almost not options at all. We have only this off-road menu for some thermal management of the battery on the off-road. I have no idea what does it mean. We have this 360 and 540 degrees view, which is also quite normal even for not off-road cars. And we have also this off-road menu with the central differential lock and the tire pressure monitoring, and basically nothing else. Not like in Leopard 5, around 15 modes of driving, but still here we have the modes of driving. They are just hidden in this button, and we have about let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 of them or something. Also sand, also snow, also the internal combustion engine starts by itself, also sport mode, and so on. This is the central control screen with 14.6 inches, and it looks a little bit outdated, a little bit small. The computer graphics here is worse than, for example, in Leopard 5, but it's understandable because the car is from 2022, not from 2024, and basically it feels like from 2020 or 2021. But the menu is understandable. Here we have all the steering of the car. Unfortunately, we do not have here the English system from the box. We have here the 256 colors of the ambient lighting. And also what is quite interesting, here we have the 12 speakers, but they're not branded. But in the Hi4-z cheaper model, the brand is Infinity. They also have 12 speakers, but here no any name on it. Probably they just didn't buy license for Hi4-z version. Here we have the HUD, and here we have the normal material on the ceiling, normal textile, and this huge openable panoramic sunroof with electrically driving shade which covers all the panoramic sunroof as well. Here we have the wireless charger with the ventilation function, which can be closed in this way, and all that is basically plastic. And when we do like this, we hear that everything has a little bit creaking noise. We go to the second drawer and we use this massive door seal, which is actually fixed and it cannot be electrically operated, like for example in Leopard 5 or in Leopard 8. And I must say that this is a convenient second drawer which has vibes of classic SUV. Here we have quite high level of the floor, but nevertheless it's very convenient to sit there. I would like maybe 5 centimeters longer seat cushion, but anyway I have pretty enough space and I have very cozy environment. I have quite enough space over my head, but I'm only 1 meter 78 centimeters. Not much entertainment right here. We have have only this screen for controlling of the air conditioner for the rear seats, and we also have these buttons for seat heating and ventilation, and we have these two buttons which are not used, and I am not sure if they can be used with any other options. No, basically we don't have any other options for the rear seats. And here we have the panel with the USB charges. So where is the massage steering? The massage steering is in this beautiful armrest, which has 7-inch touchscreen, which has plenty of functions such as steering of the audio system, steering of the seats. Here we have plenty versions of massage. Basically, this is typical menu for Great Wall cars. We have ability to open the sunroof, to close it, even to pick precisely the level on which we have the sunshade and how much we would like to open this sunshade as well. And also we have even the steering of the ambient lighting, probably just for the whole car, not only for the rear passengers, and even the navigation we have here. And here we have these beautiful and convenient cup holders. So in terms, actually here we have even the box as well, but wireless charging, probably no. I'm honestly not sure, probably no. In terms of second row, this car is better than Leopard 5, in my opinion. Maybe it is a little bit less spacious, especially in terms of roof height, but in terms of luxury, this is much better, 1 or 2 levels better, but of course it is much lower than Leopard 8. Nevertheless, I feel very cozy and very pleasant sitting right here. I think that this car is made more for the second row seaters. I really like the second row. Now we go to the trunk and we start from this massive rear door with a full-size spare tire. At least I hope it's there. I haven't checked. We have the electric suction, as you see. The door quite massive, but doesn't feel so heavy as in, for example, Leopard 8. And here basically we have a huge failure, because this trunk is completely weird and completely not well engineered. First of all, the volume here is literally not big. It's something like in a huge sedan, not much bigger. The Great Wall Motor company even do not mention the volume of this trunk in such configuration. They just mention that the total volume when you fold the rear seats will be 1,489 liters or something like that, which is of course understandable. Probably it's maybe even bigger. But in this configuration you have, I assume, about 450 liters, maybe 500 maximum. But the most interesting thing, actually two curious and weird things, that here we have the floor which has the angle, which is not flat, even in this configuration. As you see, it goes from here to here with an angle of maybe about 10 degrees. It's the first car in my life I see which doesn't have the flat floor even without folding off the seats. So probably if you put something here, it will slide down a little bit. The second weird thing for such a large car, that under the floor they do not have basically anything, and even this very basic and cheap charger for 13 amperes which they give you for free from the factory, and this V2L cable which actually 4 kilowatts, but the car can give up to 6 kilowatts. They don't have where to put it. They just put in your trunk, because under the floor we don't have anything. We have only this triangle and maybe something, and this hijack, and that's all. Here is nothing, and we saw under the body that here is nothing as well. This is the example of bad engineering. Let's now fold the seats, and while I'm folding the seats you will see the infography of this trunk on your screens. We have the movable seat cushion, and because of that we can make the almost flat floor, which is quite good and basically save the situation for this car, because in this case we have really plenty of space. But the most funny thing, that despite here the floor is basically flat, I mean with the seats and so on, here we do not have the flat floor anyways. The first time in my life I see something like that. For those who are interested, the whole body except this door, it's plastic, made of steel with zinc coating, all the doors, all the fenders, the front as well, the hood as well. The door, the crates of the body, the crate also made of steel with zinc coating, and I will show you how the car looks underneath. We have the powerful steel protection of the battery, we have this muffler, the exhaust pipe, we have the powerful frame, so everything looks approximately like this. Now it's time to perform a small test drive. This car is sold to our buyer, it's completely new, and unfortunately we cannot check today if this car really feels like 860 horsepower and how this car behaves on the off-road, or even in the city, because we can drive only on the territory of the port warehouse. But anyways, it's better than nothing. The first thing which I feel and mention while driving this car, enormously good turning radius. Here we have these concrete plates, and basically 2 plates is enough for me to make the whole 300 degrees turn. It's extremely good. The other thing is the thin steering wheel, which is much thinner than, for example, in Leopard 5, which is not for active driving. And the last thing is, for sure I would like to sit much lower, because I see the whole hood even without picking my nose up. I see it completely, and I would really like to sit about 5-10 centimeters lower and have the steering wheel a little bit higher. Now we are in the sport mode. As you see, this is sport mode, and we will try acceleration from 0 to something. I already tried it. 1, 2, 3, go. And we have enormously much power here. It was almost more than 80 kilometers, almost 90. I did it already 2 or 3 times. The car has plenty of power. That is correct. Somewhere later we even have the ICE engine start working, and then we have even more power. But in terms of active steering, this car is not bad, but of course it's not brilliant as well. We have the feeling of rolling. We don't have any active stabilizers or shock absorbers with adjustable softness or hardness. So basically this is car adjusted to comfort, and I like how this car deals with the road imperfections, and it's really very nice in terms of isolating you from them. Here we have some road problems, and it is better than Leopard 8 on the 21-inch wheels, and maybe it is generally the level of the Leopard 5 on the 18-inch wheels. Despite there we have the hydraulic adjustable suspension with the sport mode, with the comfort mode. But what they did with chassis here and with steering here, at least in this regime, I really like. Because we are not driving in the city, it's difficult to me to explain the sound insulation and even analyze for myself, but now this rich starker is working in front of us, and this is a very loud equipment, believe me, and we almost do not hear it inside of this car. So I assume the sound insulation is pretty well. The acceleration from 60-70 is quite okay. It will be sufficient for almost any takeover on the highway, but the brakes, they feel a little bit too tough. Basically, I'm not sure this brake's actually enough for this car, because from their appearance they look quite small, and the caliper is not fixed, and the curb weight here is 3 tons. It's the heaviest modification of Tank 500. So in terms of brakes, this car may have some issues, but I'm not sure it has or not. When I just drive 30 kilometers per hour, I just feel that the brake pedal is too tough for me. But generally this car is pleasant, and in this short getting acquainted to it, I feel that it is quite okay. So to cut the long story short, we've tested this car, we've made detailed thorough review, and what I should say, that this car doesn't feel modern, doesn't feel up to date in 2025. This car costs much more expensive than BYD Leopard 5, about 5,000 USD more expensive, playing on the same field as Leopard 8 in terms of price, but actually in terms of technology and design and multimedia and feeling from the car, this car feels like 3-4 years backwards compared to Leopard 8. Also, here we don't have good trunk, here we don't have super spacious room inside, and here we do not have the adjustable suspension at all. On the contrary, this is one of the biggest batteries on the market, and if the size of the battery is the key point for you, then this car probably will be your choice, and you will not be disappointed, because it's quite pleasant in driving, quite pleasant being inside of this car, and generally has way more power than, for example, Leopard 5. My name was Dennis. If you like this review, please subscribe to my channel, push the like button, and we can export this car or any other car from China to your country. Just contact me, all the details under this video. See you in the next videos.